I am live. So I'm trying to see how this camera angle works. And I'm not worried about it, honestly. Let's see. I think I can do some things here to kind of make it a little better. Not so much shadow, but at the same time, a lot of shadow here. I mean, a lot of shadow here. Very bright over here from the window. I could sit over there, but I'm kind of comfortable right here. So I'm just going to stick around, hang out here. Let me turn on and change the chat because I always make the mistake and leave it on top chat. It's Monday morning. It's cold. At least it is here. And I don't know where everybody's located. There's only one person right now, but um, it's pretty cold. It's kind of chilly. Good morning, brother. How you doing? Hey, I have a question for you. Well, I'll kind of wait a little bit for a couple more people to join us. Um, but kind of one of the things I want to talk about is something that we kind of went over in my last stream that it's kind of changed a little bit of my perspective on the hobby and the way we represent the hobby. And I never really thought about it until just recently and talking to everybody. Besides that, let's see what else has been going on. I did talk to Jess for a little while. She says hello. Um, I've been in contact with Grant from the Garden of Eden because I'm hoping that we can get something going. I'd like to do a little stream with him and Shelby, pick their brains a little bit. But I know they're super busy. They got so much going on, and good for them. You know, it's good to see. I mean, it really is. They put a lot of hard work into what they have going on, and they deserve every bit of success that they're getting. Hard work pays off, right? So, but yeah, I'm talking to them. I need to get in touch with Rob from Flip Aquatics because I want to find out what's going on with the American Shrimp Contest. Last week we had touched on it a little bit, tiny. We talked about it, and everybody was like, "Still no dates. We don't know." But then, voila, um, dates have been announced and cities. So we know Dallas will be in May. I believe Los Angeles, and I think I read New Jersey. So that's all being taken care of. Main thing is May is only 4 months, 5 months away. Wait, so February, March, April, May, 4 months. And it's going to go by fast. It always does. So I'm trying to get everything I can together now, and hopefully, we can. If I can get in touch with Rob and Grant and see if I can help coordinate things here in Dallas, I'd like to see one of the biggest and best shrimp contests, especially here on my home turf. That would be totally awesome. So, um, throwing it out there. If any of you guys happen to watch, hit me up. Let me know. I'm ready to help and make this thing huge. So we got four people in here now. Good morning, everybody. Don't be shy. Say hello. We're not going to bite your head off. We're a friendly community of aquarium enthusiasts. Maybe you're a shrimper. I'm a shrimper. I'm going to start singing songs. Oh, how funny. So there's a little thing I do in my video. Um, in the last couple videos I've done, I start off with a line, a certain line that I use. And if Jojo, if you're here, Jojo, this it's for you. You know, we talked about it. It's kind of an inside thing between me and my son. If my others were watching my videos, they know exactly. All three of my boys know exactly what I'm doing when I do it. It's unbeknownst to everybody else, but it's kind of funny. So, yeah, I don't know why I even started talking about it, but it's kind of something I've noticed that when I watch my old videos from back in the day, back in the before times, there's a lot of things I did so much better in my earlier videos than what I do now, but there's also some things that I do way better now than I did in my earlier videos. So I'm trying to find that happy medium, I guess, of where I just want to be me. I don't want it to be anything outrageous, but at the same time, I want to keep it fun. And I've noticed that sometimes I take fun in a way that it's only fun for me. Maybe it's only fun for the people with the inside jokes, like my son in this particular case. So I'm trying to find, all of that fun stuff. But I think the biggest thing about it is having fun, just having fun again and enjoying the hobby. I'm not doing what I do in my fish room so that way I can make the best video possible, if that makes sense. That's not my intent. My intent is to do the best I can in my fish room for my shrimps and my fish. And then hopefully from that, I can make good content. You know what I mean? So that's a big one. Um, and really, that's kind of what I want to talk about because I watch videos. See, I'm a drummer. I've been a drummer my whole life. Been doing. Let's see. I started when I was 7. Um, Started playing in elementary. Started playing in the local city parades. That went on through junior high, high school, marching band, teaching lessons, college. Then when I went to the army, I was a drummer in the army, an actual, that was my job in the army playing drums. I didn't start off that way, but I ended up that way. Um, and so I have a very keen understanding and a wealth of knowledge when it comes to the musician side and being a drummer, right? So I watch all of these drum videos now. And I have a lot of strong opinions about a lot of the stuff that I see, but I never, ever related that to this other hobby I have, which is aquarium keeping and shrimping. So I kind of understand a little bit now about why there are so many, master breeders, people that have been doing this for a long time that kind of look at the YouTube side of it and say, that's just a bunch of, you're doing it for views. You're not providing quality information. You're misinforming people. You're doing it wrong. Okay, that's the whatever the specific of what they're saying. What they're really saying is you're doing it wrong. So when I look at it that way, and I watch these videos of people explaining the best tips, the best way to set up, the best soils, the best filtration, the best parameters, blah 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 blah. Sometimes I look at it and I go, "Well, you're doing it wrong," or they may look at me and go, "Well, you're doing it wrong." Not saying so. On the drum side of it, where I know I am expert level. Okay. I don't consider myself expert level on the aquarium side, but expert level on the drum side. When I watch these videos and I look and I shake my head and I go, "You're doing it wrong." That made me think, because that's what's happening over here on this other side, is that people with the expert knowledge and information and experience and everything. Papa Shrimp, you're doing it wrong. So that just kind of makes me go, but which part of it? Which part of it am I doing wrong if I am? Because the proof's in the pudding. Again, I have beautiful shrimp. They're breeding. They're healthy. Do I have losses? Of course. Every once in a while, yes, I lose shrimp. And I correct it the best I can. But it's never, I wake up and all my shrimp are dying. It's usually something, one of my tanks that I know is needing some maintenance. And I've kind of lost focus on that particular tank and gotten comfortable, complacent with how it's going. So I look at the other ones. And that's something I'm trying to fix this year, is just to be more consistent with all of my aquariums and stop focusing on one side of it or one aspect versus the other. And it's hard to do. That's why I don't know how some people do it if you have multiple aquariums and different species and all that stuff, because I only have 30, 40 tanks. And I find it hard to not lose concentration on the bigger picture, if that makes sense. I don't know. Now, I also know today is a big day because I have it on over here on the that big old screen thing that gives us information. Good morning. How you doing? But there's this thing that's going to happen today. It's a very pivotal moment for our country. So that's why I'd rather focus on fun stuff like aquariums and hanging out and coffee and aquashella. See, look, I got my plaque out and I put it here. Perfect placement, you know. And then, of course, I really like the hat. I love the colors. And JBJ's awesome stuff. So I figured I'd make it a little bit fishy here in my. This is my bedroom, man cave, living room. It's the master bedroom of the house, and I just turned it into my living space, if that makes sense. So Monday morning, 9:25 a.m. And this is hard to do by yourself. This really is. When I was doing it in the evenings, not as hard. In the mornings, I found, like when I did it last week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I had a blast doing it, by the way. So thank you for joining me and making it fun. But without the engagement, without the being able to stay on topic, being able to chat back and forth, it kind of makes it hard to just ramble on, because if I'm going to just ramble on, I can always make a video real quick and publish. Oh, yeah. Thank you for the like. Yeah. Hit that, smash that like button. Let's make the algorithm go crazy, all four of us. Oops, I'm going to move this. Hope it doesn't make too much noise so I can get comfy here. But yeah, this is kind of hard to do. Um, Stay on topic, whatever. So I'm trying to get a good feel and what is it I really want to do. At the same time, when I do this in the mornings, I have noticed that I am wanting to do more in there. So that's the other thing that I'm thinking, is that maybe for example, set up in my fish room and do a little bit of water change, or just hanging out in there while I'm calling. What I don't know. Should I try to start doing this more consistently and get guests on in the morning and, you know, all that fun stuff? I don't know. I'm still up in the air because I have been out of it for so long. And as I lurk on people's streams now, and I'm seeing what everybody's doing, it's like, wow, I need that, I don't know, movement, I guess. So it's not so static like it is. But at the same time, it's freaking Monday morning, and all I want to do is just kind of ease into the week, drink my coffee, and plan for the week. Like I said, I spend a lot of time in my fish room. I really do. But it's more enjoyment time in my fish room than it is work because it's fun when I'm picking out shrimp and trying to separate them and knowing that I'm taking them from this aquarium and I'm going to put them in this aquarium and I'm not going to have a bunch of dead shrimp or whatever the case may be. I do. I want to figure out something better on recycling the water throughout the tanks. It just breaks my heart to. It looks clear. It looks clean, and I know I'm changing water in my aquarium for whatever reason, nitrates, nitrites, or just to keep a consistent water change and keep the water fresh because I like to do that. Um, but it feels like a waste of water just to dump it. So it's, I do try to water the yard, garden, whatever with the aquarium water, but I'd like to do more taking the water, pulling it out, running it through a filtration process to be reused, knowing that it's safe. But I don't know if that's viable. It should be, but I don't know. Good morning, fish fam. So, yeah, and see, that's the other thing is that if I could make up my mind if I'm going to do this more consistently, then I can put the posts up and then we can have it like on the calendar, like back in the day, in the before times. Like I got to get back into it the right way. So I'm trying to figure out what's going to be the best time slots, all that fun stuff. I talked to Grant, like I said yesterday, and I'm going to try to get him and Shelby on, but they're so busy too, like I said. So I'm going to be on with MC Aquatics in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, somewhere around there. Old water can be used in gardens. Yeah. And that's probably the best way to use it. Because again, what we're putting into our aquariums, at least for me, I've learned to be really careful of what I'm putting in my aquarium to begin with, because you can do a lot of damage if you don't put the right things in. But and still, I'm still on a. I have to say, even though I've been doing this for over a year now with these filter boxes and no substrate or just a thin layer of substrate, I'm still testing because if I can't provide an answer, like when somebody says, how long does it last? Well, I don't know. I don't, because I don't change it because I'm losing any filtration out of it. If that makes any sense, I changed the filter boxes because I think they need to be changed. Just like any other filter, if it's a hang on back filter, every once in a while you're going to change it, clean it out, squish out all the gunk and put it back together, and voila. Same thing with the canister filter every once in a while, or maybe not. Maybe you leave it alone for 2, 3 years or whatever. Sponge filter, you still take the sponges off after a while and you squeeze them out and get all the gunk out of them so that it's got good flow. So the same thing with the box filters. I'm not changing them out because I think the substrate's not working anymore. My pH isn't stable anymore because my pH stays stable. What I'm doing is I just look, it's clear plastic, and I can see that there's a lot of dust built up in the sections. It's not substrate, it's actual dust, little fine dust particles, and it's trapped in the filter. And I look at that and I go, it's time to change that filter. It's time to clean it. Empty it out, scrub it out, replace everything, put it back in. Boom, good to go. But I don't know how long it lasts because I think that's more of a personal, it's more of a, what I want to see in my aquarium. It's not based on the buffering capacity. It's just based on, I think it's dirty. I want a new one in there. So I put a new one in there. Now, should I keep track of it as now I have reset it, soft reset, whatever you want to call it, but I've reset my filter box at this time and date. And then 3 months, 4 months, 5 months from now, do it again. But still, that's putting it on my regimen, not how long does it last. Last as long as you want it to, I think. Aquatic Moose, good morning. Sponge filter once a year for me. Yeah, I get it. That's what it used to be for me too. But I prefer now, it's just for me. I'm going to probably take that sponge out and squeeze it off and clean it about every 3, 4 months. And part of it is because when I have waited so long in between cleaning out the sponge filter and squeezing it out. I mean, I know you want you tank to be seasoned, you want it to marinate, you want it to be cycled, and when you change those sponges out, or you're crashing the cycle, you're messing up the bacteria colony. But I'm still half and half on that because I believe from what when I take one out and it's so dirty that it takes me 30 minutes of squeezing it out to get it to where it's clean before I put it back in my aquarium again, and still it comes out. You can see all of the detritus flow off of it. It's because I think you're losing the effect of the sponge filter because once it gets so clogged, the water's not going through it anymore. So I'm kind of like, I don't know. But I'm trying it now with the box filter and the sponge filter because I'm thinking if I do like a 6 month cycle on each one, put the box filter in there, run it for 6 months, and then switch it out. Put the sponge filters on a 6 month cycle as well, but separate it by 3 months. In other words, I change the filter box. 3 months later, I squeeze out the sponges. 3 months later, I change out the filter box. 3 months later, I change out the sponges or squeeze out the sponges. But it still doesn't give me an idea how long does it last. So I can't answer that question because I'm still testing, I guess. I'm still learning. That's the whole thing. And the more other people start to try to use it or maybe come up with their own version, and they may be able to say, hey, look, it lasts, I'm pretty sure it lasts about this long. I've been testing it and I meter and I have all the data, and through the analytics tells me that if I keep my temperatures based on this and the barometric pressure outside and the lighting conditions and the plants that I have and everything, that it just lasts this long exactly. Okay, great. But I'm not going to be the guy that does that, I don't think. And that's just being honest. I need to do like Pelham's Aquatics. He's got a magnifying glass. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. Does this work? Oh, this works too. I don't need to see my face that big. I need the text to be that big more than I need my face to be that big, right? Let's see. Hmm. Might have just inspired me to maintain my shrimp tank today. Yeah. These temperatures. I do have, luckily, my shrimp room, fish room is inside my house. So that's good. And I have been running a little space heater. I keep that room at about 73, 74 degrees. I'm figuring that the tank temperature in the water, and sometimes I turn it off because I want the temperature to stay around 70, 71 degrees for my shrimp. But on the downside, I think that's maybe why my clown killifish has slowed down breeding. I don't think I'm doing anything different now than what I was doing before. I just think the colder temperatures, maybe. I don't know. I've never really worried too much about the temperatures with the clown killifish. And then maybe it's just because of the way that I have so many clown killifish. It's stupid. But I have way more males than I have females. And I got to figure out the ratio. Yeah, it's what is our real temperature right now out here? It's 19 for Texas. Well, that was at 6:48 this morning. It was 19 degrees this morning. Stupid. Now it's 25. So we got 50 degrees difference than over there if it feels like minus 35. I know that they said it's like in some spots it's like minus 30, 40, 50 degrees up there. That's crazy. Got to keep shrimps warm. But anyways, so yeah, I'm still testing out this whole under gravel or filter box thing. It's hard to be able to answer some of the questions when people say how long does it last or what's the best way. Well, I don't know. I kind of look at it that that's what I love about it is its flexibility to do whatever the heck you want to. If you want to put gravel or substrate on the bottom and use these as filter, great. If you want to combine it with double sponge filters, great. Do it. If you want to combine it with the hang on back, great. Let me know how it works and let me know how long using that system. And but that's the best we're going to be able to do, I think, because everything there's so many variables in this. So then to my point at the beginning, am I doing it wrong by sharing that thought process? But and that's kind of the way I look at it, especially on a lot of my videos that I'm doing. I'm just thinking out loud with everybody. I'm just sharing information and trying to open up the dialogue. And am I wrong for doing that? Well, so let me look at it from another aspect and go back to being a drummer, watching some of these drum videos and what people are sharing with each other. I don't know because I watch these drum videos and even a simple one where they're showing somebody how to be the fastest drummer and you take your wrists and you do all of this and you bang it up against the rim and you go with one hand. Then you do it and you're doing all these funky stuff and I go like that's so wrong. No, you don't do that. But I never went into drums trying to play 3 million notes per second. I watched Buddy Rich and went, that guy's like the fastest drummer in the world. But he didn't do any flip against the rim stick and do his feet all on the pedals like this and be all crouched over and hunched over and have the wrong form and mm. So on drum side I go, you're doing it wrong. On shrimp side, am I doing it wrong by having that? Do it different. Don't do what the traditional ways of doing it. Do it this way. So am I doing it wrong? And that's it's an interesting way to look at it. So I have to kind of on the other side go, if it's working for you, then you're not doing it wrong, right? If it works, great. Is it something I want to do? No. That's it. It's just I don't want to do it that way. I'm a traditionalist. I've been playing drums for too many years. I'm going to stick to my ways of doing it, the way that I was taught, the way that I teach, and the way that I think is the best way for what I'm trying to accomplish, and like minded people as well. So on this side of it, I kind of have to go, well, hopefully I get the same kind of leeway from the traditionalists that have fun. You can do whatever you want to. It doesn't, I mean, I've seen so many different, like back in the day, I used to just sit in awe at Master Dean's setup and just go, how how does those aquariums look like? It's like a scientific laboratory, the cleanliness, the water clarity, the health of the fish, the colors, the vibrance. Yes, please hit like. Um, and I remember watching all of that going, I'd love to do a glass bottom aquarium setup. Let me try. And then it turns into a big tank of green algae mess that, and I have videos of it. I went back and looked. I have videos of it. There's on my YouTube page from one of the videos where I think I added more tanks or something like that was the title. And yeah, it shows the glass bottom tank in there, and it's just green water. It's a horrible setup. But now, after finally learning things and being a better caretaker of my aquatic life and understanding things better, just all around, yeah, I have no issues with glass bottom anymore. So that's kind of the next thing. So how do I like the glass bottom. I love my shrimps. I love aquascaping. I love plants. I love mosses. That's why I recommend still, like what I'm doing in there, I kind of think of it, those are my production tanks, even though they're not. I'm not doing any, I'm not like selling shrimp everywhere or all of it. No, I'm doing this all for myself, kind of, unfortunately. Hint hint. So if you want to buy some stuff, I got plenty. I just don't do it on a regular basis anymore. Um, but what the heck? Something happened over here. Or it's just the way it looks on me. Okay. Anyways, but yeah, I still always think you got to have a personal fun tank, and I'm getting ready to do that. I'm gonna rebuild one of the racks in there, and I'm gonna build my own rack. I'm gonna do a video on it, of course, but I think I want to do um, 3 10 gallons and a 20 gallon, and I kind of want to do the 20 gallon more like my own, like what I would do if I wasn't doing, if I was just keeping an aquarium, right? my own personal fun aquarium to look at, then that's kind of what I want to have. And it's kind of like the rest of them, yeah, I'm not so worried about scaping and all of that fun stuff. Good morning, Big Steve. I'm not worried about scaping and all that stuff in the other ones. I'm more worried about just seeing if it's gonna work the way I'm doing it. Because so far, it's working, and I may end up with like a rack of just pure red lines because those are exploding. And I like the ones that have the single band, and those are really cool. I want them in their own tank. I like the ones that have the four bands. They're really cool. I want them in their own tank. I like the ones that have the lightning bolt band on the back in the middle. That one, those are pretty cool. I want them in their own tank. So, yeah. That's cool. We got 8 people in here. It's 9:47. Coffee. Hopefully everybody's got coffee. Yeah, decided not to mess around this morning. Instead of my little cup of coffee that I know is going to get emptied out, I figured I'd just do this. Is what I used to take to work when I go to work in the morning. I'd take one of these. It's like half the pot of coffee, and I'd take one of these to work, and usually I'd be done with it by around 1ish when I took lunch. Oh man, you're freezing, dude. Working a snowblower, dude. Sorry to hear. I mean, it's cold here. I won't go outside because it is too cold. It's dry cold. It bites through you, but we don't have any mess to deal with, thankfully. So yeah, stay warm. Keep your fish room nice and cozy too. That's always my biggest concern with temperatures being low is just maintaining temperatures in my fish room. I have this big 100-gallon tub in there, and sometimes because it's directly on the floor, I wonder if I should put a heater in it to keep it warm. I never check the temperature. And I would imagine it's probably a little cold because the shrimp aren't as big as you would expect them to be, and some of the plants don't do as well as you would expect them to. But then, like I said, I never change the water in that tub because, again, water waste. I feel bad enough taking clean water out of my shrimp tanks just to do a water change, but I still do it. And a lot of times it's not really to change the, like I said, it's not to change the water because it's like a 10% water change. It's just because I'm trying to see if being more consistent with that is going to produce better results, and not better results as in anything that I'm tracking statistically, but are the shrimp going to be happy and healthy and breeding? Does that make sense? Coffee. I did I did pop in on Stephen P the other night. And that was pretty cool to see him wearing my shirt. I was like, oh, cool. I don't even know if those shirts are still available. I'll have to check because I was doing a Teespring. I haven't checked my Teespring account in 2 years. Yeah, I know I'm bad. It's crazy to think that it's been almost 2 years since I've lived here. We moved in April of 2023. And that's when I moved, I lost everything because it wasn't just a move from my house. It was also right after basically moving. Jason decided he was going to move to West Texas on the other side of Dallas Fort Worth, and I live over here on this side of Dallas Fort Worth. So we're like on the polar opposites of the Metroplex, about 3 hours away from each other. So I moved what I could out of the shop and lost a few. And then, good afternoon. Is it afternoon? Um, I moved stuff from the shop and all of our aquariums where we were selling from on our website. And then I moved it over to the house, and I didn't really have the capacity for it. And so I lost a lot of stuff then. And then moving out here, I lost almost everything. So what I have now, 2 years later, is all built up from scratch. And I think that's what's the coolest part of it is I haven't gone out and spent a bunch of money. I haven't gone out and bought a bunch of designer shrimp. I wanted to, but I was fortunate enough to have some shrimp donated to me because right after I moved, Aquashella was here, and I wasn't a judge at that Aquashella Dallas that year. Um, there was too much going on with me that I couldn't really commit to it. But I did go there, and they donated some shrimp to me, and that's what I got my red Nancy's or red pintos and the three black pintos. And from there, um, I called Eric Lucas and I asked him for some PRLs, and he sent me some PRLs, and that's basically what I got. And I've just grown it from there. And I went from those few shrimp that I had to hundreds and hundreds and thousands of shrimp now. 2 years. It's taken 2 years, and I still got a long way to go. When I think about it, like the yellow shrimp that I have that came from the black galaxies. So now I have some golden tigers. Um, they came from the black ones, and I separated them, and then like two more came, and so now I had five, and I put them all in an aquarium, and it's been 4, 5 months since they've been out, and females finally buried. So that's really cool knowing that if I can build that colony up and get it to where I need it, then I did it by myself. I didn't buy anything. I'm really excited. First hatch usually it could be dicey or it could be perfect. Who knows? We'll see. So I'm really paying attention to that. That'll probably be mid February when those hatch. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. But again, that's a colony that's going to be start from scratch. I didn't go out and buy yellow tigers like I wanted to. I made them. And then the blue bolts that I have that I'm pulling out from the Black Galaxy, when they start breeding, then I'll have those I make, just like the red steels that came from the red pintos. I have those in a tank, and there's hundreds of those now. So I created that colony. That's kind of cool. That's the fun part of doing this. And that's the big thing that I always say to everybody: just play, have fun, do it. What if it works? If you're shrimp are breeding, then do it that way. I'm just doing it this way and sharing my videos because it's easiest for me. When my tanks are a little dirty, I use my little scoopers and I get it right off the glass, bottom of the glass. It, it's simple. I don't have to worry about stirring up the substrate and ammonia spikes and stuff like that. When I think it's dirty, I reset the filter box, pull it out, throw the soil in my garden or in one of my other aquariums that I'm not using for anything other than show. My tub, I do that a lot with my tub. I'll take that whatever old substrate, throw it in there, or I just throw it in the garden. And yeah, reset it. It only takes about 3.5, 4 cups maybe of the substrate to refill a filter box. And then I put it back in. And it's usually pretty clean as long as the substrate's not dry. That's the big key. Don't let your substrate be dry. It's getting closer. They're showing it on the TV thing. Cheers. What's this? Oh, I don't know who posted the video, but I saw it of they called it the Green Hulk betta fish. Oh, wow. I mean, I'm afraid to be a betta fan because I'm worried that just like with shrimp, I'll end up with like hundreds of jars of bettas, yeah, or something, and then trying to breed them. But this betta fish, wow, it was beautiful. Morning, geek boy. It's I don't know. I don't know if anybody else saw it, but it's the Green Hulk. It's called the Green Hulk, and it's just an amazing looking betta fish. Oh wow! And what's I'm not I'm red green colorblind. So people always ask, like, you're colorblind? Yes, I'm red green colorblind. I see colors. I do. um, that I don't see black and white. I see colors. It's just that some reds and some greens. I have a hard time shades. They mess with me. They mess with my eyes. So how do I overcome that, you ask? I take pictures, and the pictures don't lie. Even though my eyes want, when I'm looking at it directly, I have to take a picture of it to know what it looks like better for some of the harder colors. Or I ask somebody, what color is this? And once they tell me, okay, got it. But if I don't know and I walk up to something, like sometimes I look at the green shrimp that I have and I go, what color is that? And then I have to remember, oh yeah, it's in the green shrimp tank. But so this green thing, this green betta, for it to be so attractive and me to look at it and go, wow, it's so pretty. It's kind of cool for me. But I've started to realize how much green is more of my favorite color than I thought. My son bought a guitar, super nice Les Paul guitar, but it's got green. The logo, the pearl inlays are the green pearl. The back has that green sunburst kind of. Oh, it's beautiful. And why that's such a big deal is because we're Dallas Stars fans, and of course their colors are green. So, yeah. The red versus green NFL game. No, see, like I said, I can see colors. That's not a problem, but it's just okay. So, like back in the before times when I was married, I went to the store, I bought toothbrushes, and I was like, oh, look, a him and her set of toothbrushes. So I took them back. And it wasn't that they were him and hers, it's just the colors made me think they look like him and her set of toothbrushes. So I took them back and I put them in the toothbrush holder. And my wife asked me, she said, where's my toothbrush? And she said, which one's mine? And I was like, the pink one. It's a him and her set. I got the blue one and I gave you the pink one. So she came back out. She was like, what pink one? And I was like, the one in the toothbrush holder. And she brought it out. She showed it to me. She goes, this is orange. Oh, but it was a shade of orange that to me, my eyes told me it was pink. Those are the kinds of things that I do, you know. Yeah, I have. Yeah, those are when I used to be a this is going to sound funny, but I was a field technician. Actually, I was the regional manager for a bunch of field techs, but we'd repair electrical equipment all the time. When I was a machinist, we'd repair their electrical equipment all the time. You have to get back there. Yeah, the orange is pink one. Exactly. But, and you know the color, it's that neon orange that neons mess with me. Neon colors, pastels, forget it. But anyways, so people used to ask me, how do you read in an electrical diagram? Well, I have a hard time. The I can't see all of the lines. If you ever looked at an electrical diagram, the different shade between the oranges, the pinks, the reds, the greens, the grays, the blacks, the whites, the wire diagram goes around and it's all the different colors of the different colors of wires. And it gives you a little legend. Well, I can't see all of the different differentiating colors. I can tell there's lines, but I can't tell you exactly what colors they are. But if I go look at it and I take a picture and then I start taking stuff apart and I put stuff back, all I have to do is look at the picture and I can match everything where it's supposed to go. So I'd always do that. Take pictures along the way and then send them to people or whatever. If I didn't know, what color is this wire? Is this one because it doesn't look or no? They're like, I don't know, I can't tell exactly, and I'm the colorblind one. But pictures help. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Like my shrimp, sometimes if I can't really tell what color it is because it's messing with me, then I take a picture. And then when I take a picture and I look at it, I'm like, ooh, that's pretty. I may not be able to tell you that's lavender, that's fuchsia, that's midnight blue versus dark blue. I may not be able to tell you whether it's orangish pink or pinkish orange, but I can see the colors. That's funny. The orangish pink one. Yeah, exactly. And the pinkish orange one. I, that was one thing back when we had the fish room at Jadron Aquatics, and I'd go in because I did all of the bagging of the fish, I did all of the shipping. Um, Jason basically printed out the orders and gave them to me, and I took care of it. So we'd have all of the all of the fish in there, and sometimes I'd tell them, dude, can you put a label on it for me, please? Because I'm not sure which one's the platinum versus the turquoise. They kind of look the same to me, so you need to put a sticker so I know. Just don't, which ones are red plecos versus the super reds. Put a sticker so that way I know. Reds I have a hard time with, greens I have a hard time with. There's certain colors that I just have a hard time. I need the labels. As long as they're labeled, I'm okay. And I think there was only once out of all of the hundreds of orders that I shipped, I think there was only once that I put the wrong color fish in the bag. My son ever tried to hide? No, no, but I do. They mess with me sometimes, but that's okay. I mess with them too. And the colorblind trait comes from the mother's genes, so none of my boys are going to be colorblind, and they aren't colorblind, luckily for them. I'm the one that's always been color challenged, but it's not a big deal. It really isn't. I mean, like I said, I see colors. That's why I know there's certain things that I just don't like those color combinations. But then I have to ask my again, my wife in the before times. She used to always tell me, "I'm just going to start putting granimals, on your clothes." Yeah, yeah. She got that thing, one of these fingers, flown at her quite a few times. What was the other thing I was thinking about? So yes, um, I saw that Green Hulk beta. That makes me want to get one. I'd love to have a beta, especially if it looks like that. But again, I'm looking at it and going, that's probably like $100 fish or something stupid like that, you know. And I wonder sometimes do people think about that on shrimp, right? Do they think, man, a $500 shrimp? Are you crazy? A $200 shrimp? Are you crazy? A $50 shrimp? Are you insane? And I get it. So I saw a meme for a video on YouTube that I was scrolling through, and it showed a guy that I bought $5,000 of shrimp or whatever, and arrows pointing to a shrimp, and it shows one shrimp, and it's like pointing at it like $800 or $1,000 shrimp or whatever. And I'm like, okay, so I get it, but I've seen shrimp similar to that in my aquariums, and I don't think that they're like $100 shrimp or something like that. Maybe it's because the genetics are stabilized now, so they can guarantee that all of your shrimp are going to look like that. So that's part of the reason that they've been breeding it for years and years. Uh, are you in? Yes, I know, but yes, I am insane. True. Yeah. Okay. Point proven. Darn it, geek boy. Um, but I always tell my kids the shrimp in my aquariums maybe on a retail value. You could put a price tag on them or something like that, but they're worth absolutely $0 if they're in my aquarium. The only thing they're worth is whatever value I put to them, right? So is that my end goal, is to have shrimp that I can say this is a $20 shrimp or this is $40 shrimp? Maybe. I don't know. But I don't really go that way. I don't really try to do things. Maybe I started off that way, you know, to be honest, to be completely, maybe I started off thinking, yeah, if I can get, I bought this shrimp for $80, and if I can breed them, then I can sell them for $80. And then, I'm going to have thousands and thousands of dollars of shrimp. Maybe that was my thinking. Uh, and maybe after I have my pure red lines 4 years from now, and I've perfected them down to they have every characteristic I want, whether it's white socks or red, dark red legs or certain patterns and certain shell thicknesses and all this stuff, and have it down to a stabilized. I want to charge a little bit more than just $5 for my shrimp. Of course, put a lot of work into it. So maybe that's what it boils down to. But I know for sure, like I said, It's taken me 2 years of having these black galaxies for them to pop out the rare yellow, which now I have 5 yellow, and those are pregnant, and those will probably start breeding, I mean, regularly here this year. So it'll be another year before I have a decent colony of the yellows, and then pulling out and separating so I can stabilize the yellows to the certain patterns that I want and brightness of the yellows, of course. That's going to be another. Yeah. So by then, is it going to be something that I want to charge extra for? Well, of course, because I put all that work into it. So it's kind of just, it's weird, but I do like, again, I like growing it and building it from scratch versus buying it and then reproducing it or importing a bunch of stuff and then selling that. Good morning, Nana. I love shrimp. Yeah, we're just hanging out. I know there's that thing going on with stuff. I should be a responsible citizen and pay attention, but eh, I'm sure they're going to replay it and analyze it and reanalyze it and all that stuff over the next 4 years. Yeah. So what's everybody's like? Here's a question: Is what's the future look like? I've been seeing a lot of videos about it. What's the future look like for this hobby? What do we think? Where's it going? I mean, how's it trending? I know things have changed a lot. COVID really did a number. That whole pandemic thing did a number. It gave us a false sense of security on the I guess on the industry side. I'm going to say the social media side, because everybody was looking for something to just keep them entertained and distracted. Then real life came back into play, and here we are 4 years later, 5 years later, crap. And it's kind of one of those things to where it just seems like, I don't know. I mean, just going to Aquashella and seeing how Aquashella has changed from what it was years ago to what it is now. It's not as it's not as compromised of a lot of YouTubers and then the vendors and the other stuff that's going on. It's more like all the corporate sponsorship and vendors, and then there's a select group of the creators. Um, that's kind of a little bit of a bummer because it was so much fun. There was so many things. I remember the samurai suits and the ball things that they crashed into each other, and um, the bug eating contests, and the blind aquascaping or two-person blind aquascaping challenge stuff, and between the creators, that was cool. That all that kind of stuff just kind of it's not so much, and that's what. So it makes me think: how much has it changed? I mean, are the online people still getting the online orders, and what are they selling? What's going good? Oh no. See, that's why I haven't been wanting to really ship much, and not because of the weather and the temperatures, but more because is it going to get stuck um, with these extreme? extreme weather systems that we're dealing with right now. So that's kind of, I'm glad I'm holding off. I'm excited to finally be able to attend, but I suspect it will further demonstrate that the Keystone Clash is more for the hobbyists and less corporate. Ooh, good job, Daniel. Got that snow taken care of. So I'm guessing you're talking about the Aquashella that's going to be up there up north this year on the East Coast. And I'm glad they're doing a West Coast one. I've always wondered about that. And I'm actually, I kind of, if I can manage it, if I can figure out a way, I'd love to go to California when they do the Aquashella there. Yeah, and see, Aquashella used to not be corporate like it turned the past couple of times that I've been. Maybe it was different here in Dallas, and maybe it was different in Daytona or different in Chicago. I don't know because I didn't go to those. But I just know that the past couple of Aquashellas here in Dallas, it just didn't. I don't know. There wasn't as much fun stuff. Like I remember going on Friday night and we'd have all of the creators get together and have a big meet and greet and chat, and maybe they would have pizza and we'd all sit around. What are we going to do? How are we going to help? How are we going to, help volunteer or be a part of putting on Aquashella in various ways, whether it's the drawings, whether it's helping set up, whatever. And yeah, now they don't do that anymore. We used to always be given tickets and access to the dinner on Saturday evening after Aquashella was done. Vendors and everything would get to go to a dinner somewhere and get free tickets, maybe drinks. That's how I got to eat with Master Dean because we all went to the same after Aquashella function. And I was sitting there with Dean and who else? What's his name? Um, the big muscle guy. And what's her name? I know their names. And Taylor and Dean. And I know their names. But anyways, yeah, because we had all that stuff. But this last one last year, it was like, man, either we Grant, Shelby, Vibes Aquatics, let's all go somewhere and do something, or there's nothing happening. You know, it's kind of like I felt like Rudolph. I didn't get to play in the reindeer games, man. No, Twan, Twanza. Twanza. That doesn't sound right. Twanza. What the? What? I'm looking it up. Damn it. Uh, he works with Corey. I was sitting at the table with all of them that work with Corey. I think Corey was there too, but he was at the very end of the table. Senso. Kwanzaa. Oh yes, that. And what's her name? Girl talks fish. I know her name. I remember telling her in Chicago when she was still Gamer's wife that the only reason I knew who she was up on stage was because I recognized her voice from her videos. Because I remember telling her, I was like, you're always off camera. So all I know is your voice. It's nice to meet the face behind the voice. I don't care for the large fish events. I always loved going to the club events. That, yeah, Irene. See, I know everybody's name. But I remember telling her that in Chicago in 2019, Aquashella. And then after that, she changed the name from Gamer's Wife to The Girl Talks Fish, and she started getting on camera a lot. And I was like, I hope I had a little something to do with that. That's kind of cool. I thought it was cool. See, and that's the thing. I, in my experience, I didn't know what all of this was back when I first started going. As a matter of fact, the very first Aquashella that happened in Dallas here, my son's best friend was telling me about it because he saw what I was doing with my aquariums, and I actually bought like 11 aquariums from him. Um, but he was all into it. And he was like, man, there's this thing called Aquashella. It's going to be badass, blah, blah, blah. And I wanted to go. But I ended up that was when I had my first heart attack. So I missed out on that. And then it was the Aquashella in Chicago in 2019 that I made sure I wasn't going to miss. And by then, I had already gotten acquainted with Rob from Flip Aquatics. I'd gotten acquainted with Jason from Jadrin. I'd gotten acquainted with Luca. Everything online as far as that goes. Um, and I ended up going to Chicago, and I just thought it was amazing. Especially because they had a scavenger hunt. And I mean, I remember sitting in the little fish tubers area. We were, you know, munching behind the curtains in between Project Tiaba and or Piaba, Tiaba, and Jason standing at the big giant aquarium doing all of the forms for the scavenger hunt. Yeah, it's cold. Good morning, but it was fun. I'm hoping, I'm hoping, Nana, no more heart attacks. I've had too many. I had too many. I've had too many episodes. But the last time they fixed me up pretty good. I'm probably gonna have to go in here soon and do another maintenance. I can kind of tell, but I'm definitely not gonna put myself in a position to where I'm actually gonna have like a major heart attack. I hope. I feel like I'm doing better. Um, I've been through a weird year of health stuff that's kind of unrelated to my heart. Uh, I had some kind of like throat thing at the beginning of the year that got me pretty good. It turned into some earaches that were messing with me. Then um, I ended up getting vertigo right around May, and I that was not fun, and it took a long time for it to go away. Um, vertigo is not fun. I don't know if anybody's ever had it. I didn't ever really understand how bad it could be when people said around me that have said they've had it, but ooh, it was bad. I had to go to the hospital. Um, I had to go to the hospital because I mean I couldn't move without feeling like I was just my insides were going to come out. and it was bad. It scared me. I thought I was having issues with my heart, and then I did some research as I was trying to understand what I was dealing with, and they said, yeah, it can create panic attacks and anxiety because the feeling of the feeling that you get when you're on vertigo, oh, it's scary, man. It's ugh. But anyways, yeah, I went through that. That was not fun. I'm still dealing with some kind of sinus stuff, but I think it has to do with all the teeth stuff, which has to do with all of the fire stuff, which that's so crazy how everything is so linked. You know, when the house fire happened, I was so stressed out and in shock that I didn't realize how much it had hit me and how much stress I was under. So when I was in Ohio working at Flip Aquatics, I didn't understand even then some of the stuff that I was going through, but I did wake up 2 nights in a row with I had been grinding my teeth so much that I broke one. They basically broke the tooth in half, and then the bottom teeth broke as well. It broke one of the bottom teeth. Well, I didn't even think about it that I was stressed out and whatever happened. Well, then a year later, I'm having all kinds of teeth problem after the heart surgery, before the heart surgery, having to get teeth pulled, this and that, blah blah blah. So yeah, I think all of that stuff's connected, and maybe we don't realize it, but you got to take care of stuff, or else other stuff happens. Ah, reviews of the hotel, eh? Dramamine helps a little. See, they gave me medicines to take, anti-nausea medicine. It was probably Dramamine. They gave me anti-diarrheal medicine, all this kind of stuff. But I mean, it didn't matter. It didn't matter at some points. I mean, all I had to do was just turn my head, and it was like everything else in slow motion. And it was like, yeah. But yeah, I went through some weird stuff over the summer and last year. Wow, last year, time does fly, doesn't it? That's why I got to go. Damn it. That's the only reason why I want a job, a real job. Well, besides money and being able to pay bills and, being able to buy stuff and do things. The only reason I want a real job is for insurance because, oh my God, it's stupid, crazy expensive. And I don't get it. I don't understand why medical is so expensive. Yeah, so I like money too, geek boy. Unfortunately, it's escaped me in the most important years of my life because of whatever other things that have happened that I have to take money and here take my money. But that's why I'm like, damn it, there's got to be something I can do to make money doing me. Or at least if I go get a job, then pay me what I'm worth. Don't treat me like a, don't treat me the way people get treated. Just don't. Um, I don't have the time for it. I don't have the patience for it. I know. I know. But I mean, that's even the thing. At some point, like, I don't know. Shouldn't there be like a way to, I don't want to say it, but I'm 55 now. So I have to start thinking about different things that come with aid and help and healthcare and stuff that it is too expensive for older people to afford unless you're uber rich. I don't know. That's just, if I ever had like too much money, that's what I'd do is do a free clinic, free healthcare, and just pay for it. Especially if you're a veteran, if you're a first responder, just there's got to be more of that. And that whole healthcare marketplace, man, that's a crock. I went through and I looked for it and I gave them all my information of what my current situation is. And they basically said, okay, you can qualify for this much. So I went and I looked at the different options, and there's an option that I can pay $0 for and get free coverage. I get tax credits or whatever, and they'll pay for it. But it's an HMO, and it's like a $15,000 deductible. My doctors aren't on the plan, and the medicines that I take aren't all covered. But I can go to this other one where it's like $2,500 a month or whatever, and I only have to pay $900 a month by myself out of pocket. It has a $1,500 deductible. My doctors are on the list, but my drugs aren't. But it's still an HMO. And I don't know how many of you have dealt with HMOs. I'm not a big fan of HMOs. I don't want to go to a doctor so that way that doctor tells me it's okay for me to go see a specialist. So that way that specialist says, well, I can't tell you what I'm telling you without you going to your doctor and getting approval from him that he can tell you what I'm telling you so that you can go to another doctor and then maybe they'll decide if you can get surgery for that. I did that when I was younger on my shoulder, and 2 years it took them. No, a 1 year it took them before I finally got surgery on my shoulder, and they still did it wrong. So yeah, but that's why I distract myself with aquariums and keep my mind on other stuff. And I should probably, not. I should probably be more diligent on making sure all this other. But man, life's too short. So it's 10:35. Wow, I went over an hour. I've been going for an hour and 23 minutes. I'm glad everybody came and hung out. Again, I'm still on the fence. Still on the fence of how often we should do this, etc., etc. So I don't know. Hit me up, leave me some comments, let me know what you think. Send me an email. Uh, More, less, not at all. Do it in the evenings instead. Let me know. Hey, Mark, how you doing? Good morning. I was just about to say goodbye, but I have a question for you. Um, I see that you've moved a lot of stuff to a different platform. How's that going for you? How you liking it? Is it pretty cool? Is it easy to use? And then also, I'm wondering, I'm wondering, what's your plans for Aquashella? Um, because I'm trying to get in touch with Grant and Rob, and find out what's going on the shrimp side. I definitely want to be a major player on that, an organizer or whatever. Um, I'm trying to. I don't want to just be a judge, if that makes any sense. I've done that role now at the Aquashellas enough times. 3 times I've been judge at the contest. Um, I kind of want to just. Um, I want to be more of an organizer. I want to be more of a major player of making taking care of logistics, making sure everything's there, setting up, working, organizing with the sponsors and the organizers, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm trying to see. Like I said, I just don't want to do that. So I was wondering what you plan. You plan to attend, but not advance. Okay, cool deal. And I need to figure out whenever we have the next local DFW thing because I got a bunch of stuff I need to sell. I need to make more room in my aquariums. Rob is always fun to get a hold of. Yeah, no comment. Trust me, I worked with the dude. I know. Um, he's a good kid, though. I was planning on hanging out with Residential Alien 86, Silver Creek Aquatics, and Happy Place Aquatics. Okay, cool deal. See, and that's so. Here's my thing, is because of the way Aquashella has transformed its promoting of the smaller channels. Probably the better way to put it. Uh, I think if we can get the locals, whoever's DFW Aquarium Association members, yourself, people like me, get Jason, H2 Aquad, anybody we can get and have like a large gathering of attendees that kind of like we just make it ours. I wonder how much that would help, you know, because they still have the little hangout areas. It's just not like it used to be. We had our own fish tube area. I know we can't call it that anymore due to whatever crap, but we used to have. I mean, that was a major thing that we'd spent time setting up was the fish tube area, and it was sponsored by Fritz and Rob and Jason from Primetime and Jason from Jadarin. And Jadarin did all the printing to get the tablecloths, to get the big giant banners, the fish tube banner. And then we had this whole area where we put out all the tables for the creators to put their cards and, get autographs and blah, blah, blah. But since they don't do it anymore and they're more just have their select creators that they're speakers or whatever, paid speakers, whatever the case may be. I don't know. But I think we need to take back a little bit of it again and still tell them, hey, I know this is y'all's Aquashella thing, whatever, but it's still for us, right? What about us? What about the community? What about the creators? What about the people that are here, the clubs, the associations? I mean, without us, you have no place, all right? So I think it'd be cool to kind of take back some of that and just do it anyways. Whether they do it, maybe we organize things and events and activities on the side, ourselves. Take it upon ourselves to do it. But I think that'd be really cool, especially here in Dallas. Um, I think I'd like to see a coming together. Yeah, exactly. Just make it ours. I don't know. We'll have to talk about it. Um, and I kind of like to check out that other platform. I'm not going to say it on here just because I don't know, but I kind of like to check it out. um, and see what's going on. I'm trying to expand me a little bit. Um, as much as I am a computer geek, I'm not a computer geek, if that makes sense. So I kind of want to. I got a lot to learn, and I'm ashamed of myself that I haven't learned more, as adept as I am in technical terms. I think you're really on something. That's kind of what me and my friends are doing. It'd be fun to have a meetup somewhere outside of the venue, maybe take a tour of a cool fish store. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I know that's what we did back in the day. I know me and Jason, that was like we were doing it just for us. So we'd go to Aquashella and do our stuff, but the point and the purpose of it was is for all the other things that we could do: visit the local fish stores, visit the local fish rooms, whatever. And that was like Rob from Flip Aquatics. He did that back in the day too. He would come to Aquashella, but the videos that he made afterwards of going to the local fish stores that were selling his shrimp, or the fish rooms, going to Jason and filming Jadron Aquatics. Um, that's kind of how I learned about Jason, was through Rob's tour. So yeah, I think some of that needs to happen again. It needs to come back. But I think a lot of that's up to us to show the corporates, go back to this. I know everybody's trying to grow and be more, this is the future, looking at the future and innovations and blah, blah, blah. But man, let's get back to the real reality of it is this whole thing's there for us, the hobbyists, the users, the community. It's supposed to be anyways. Yeah. Aw, thanks, man. I appreciate it. That makes me feel good. I've been struggling a little bit with that, my place in the community, because I stepped out and kind of vanished and disappeared in the background for so long. But man, I can't not love this, and especially now that I'm not working, it makes me I want to do so much more. I want to learn, I want to share, I want to create, I want to imagine, and just have fun with as many of like-minded people as possible, if that makes sense. So I appreciate you saying that, and I'm glad that I could make a difference, as small of difference as possible. But hey, whatever. Strength in numbers, man. Isn't Scotty offering fish room tours for anyone going to the New Jersey? Oh, I don't know. We'll find out though, won't we? The last Aquashella sucked. I wouldn't be going to this one if it wasn't for you two friends that I never met that want to meet up. Yeah. you, yes, the last one did suck. It was horrible. I I I was kind of aghast. Is that the appropriate word? I was aghast. It was bad. Um, there's a my friend Lisa from Lacree Fine Arts. In previous Aquashellas, she was the artist that did that badass Aquashella logo with the sea turtle, and that is hers. She's that artist, right? And so she would get booths at Aquashella for her artwork because they commissioned her artwork for the badges and for the flyers and all of that stuff. So I got to know her. She's a really awesome artist and a really awesome person. And last year at Aquashella, when I was talking to her, I was like, "You didn't do the artwork," and she was like, "No." She was like, "I didn't," and I'm pissed. And I was like, "Uh oh." And then I went and looked, and I saw that it was like AI. So seeing the announcement and flyers that it's AI this time, I'm like, oh man, poor Lisa, because that's kind of like don't go away from what built it, you know. But I get it. There's all kinds. It's all about money and blah 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 blah. You got to do what the money wants you to do, I guess. But that's where it's up to us to make it ours, just like you said. I think we need to band together, man, and show them what it's like when you come to Aquashella in Dallas, right? Because it's definitely different than anywhere else. But what makes it different? Us. Yeah, I will. I'd like to look into a lot more stuff, looking around other things besides Aquashella. But anyways, I got stuffs to do. Speaking of, I want to get in my fish room and play around with my shrimps and do some moving around and maybe make some content and stuff like that. So thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you. We'll see you next time, man. Peace.